Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. This is the Plantonics UK Open. I'm Madals and spawning on Polar Knights down in the south position in game number 1 of this best of 3. We have none other than the Green Terran player, RobbyG. And his opponent, spawning in the north, the Orange Zerg, representing Infused, Jamesykins. So, this should be a really awesome game. Thoroughly looking forward to it. A little bit of TVZ action is well in my comfort zone. And, well, TVZ probably, at the moment, is my favourite matchup. For many, many reasons. But it's kind of a nice little part of my soul likes TVZ. Because there's such a high micro potential for different engagements throughout the game. Especially in the most common kind of build orders, which is Marine Marauder, Mine Medevac up against Zergling Baitling Mutalisk. There's Marine splitting, good mine placement, control of the Mutalisks and detection in order to take out mines and things like that. And there's just a lot, there's so much micro potential. There's not really a build order win usually, and there's not usually kind of a composition win either, where you're just kind of stuck there and you're just like, I can't beat that. It's a very dynamic matchup and leads to a lot of fun. For the moment though, looks like RobbyG isn't going to be able to get that full wall off down in time. A drone sneaks on by, going to be checking, see whether or not there's a gas taken. Of course that gas would just be telling you if there's going to be, say, a Reaper opening, or if the gas was already busy mining, you'd know, okay, it could be at a very early factory. But because no gas has been seen, Jamesykins can work out that this is either going to be a big barracks play, which is highly unlikely, or it's going to be a fast command center, which is the more probable option. So Jamesykins is going to straight away move this Overlord into position. This is one of probably the best place to put an Overlord on this map. It allows you to see the natural so clearly and know immediately when it's taken down. It's such an OP position to place that Overlord. So command center, nice and quick. Jamesykins now has 2 ways in which he can respond to this. Option 1. Out-expand his opponent. Go and take that third base. Option 2. Apply pressure and try and force a cancel on that command center due to the greediness of RobbyG. RobbyG though, if memory serves, pretty much always opens up one rack's command center against Zerg. And he has done for quite a while. He's very comfortable and confident in this matchup, doing that opening. He also often pushes out with these 2 early Marines to try and snipe an Overlord or 2. Overlord hunting, great pastime for many Terran players. Mainly because not many Zergs will opt to get more than 2 or 4 Zerglings out early on, so 2 Marines are easily able to deal with that. The Queen gonna come out though, and Queens do not take nicely to the odd Marine near their hive or near their hatchery. They pick him up pretty quick, but RobbyG displaying some impressive micro here. Gonna force back those Zerglings and generally just having a really good time in getting some early damage down. Back at home, his command center at the natural base is busy morphing into an orbital command. He's got a decent work account and is just happily teching up just as you would expect at around the 5-minute 30 mark. That tech lab fractionally later than it may be if it was an earlier gas, say a Reaper expand, but his economy is far stronger than it would be with a Reaper expand. Jamesykins, he's over there chucking down a hatchery at that third base, really keeping a close eye on keeping his economy 1 base up on that of the Terran. This third base timing, which was about 5 minutes 30, pretty much the earliest you can safely go for it without risking it, or risking taking a lot of pressure early on. Ling's going to be forcing back these Marines. Very nice takedown there. 100 minerals worth of damage done. And overall, the resources lost just fractionally favouring RobbyG by 50 resources. Starport already on its way through, as well as the reactor being added on to the factory there. RobbyG isn't doing anything too scary as of yet. Meanwhile, Jamesykins, he's got his Baneling nest coming through. He's got a single evolution chamber, and as I previously mentioned, his third base has nearly now completed. There's a second Evo. That was the one thing I was really keeping a close eye on, because double Evo, very common for Zerg players. getting those 1-1 melee ground upgrades just so that you can start getting some nice hits off. And the one attack is really important because it just means that you can start taking down Marines a bit easier. You can make sure that you don't take as much damage. Well, it's not so much applicable nowadays, but back when Marine Tank was the primary build, getting the +1 carapace was essential, so the tanks took 2 shots of splash in order to kill your Zerglings and Banelings, whereas if you had level armor and up against mech attack, then tank splash would one-shot basically Zerglings and Banelings, and that isn't fun. RobbyG now going for a double drop, heading in towards Jamesykins' third base, but it gets scouted by one lone Zergling. A couple of Banelings morphing in as well here, but RobbyG is only pressuring with this. It's not a game-ending push. He's got a third command center coming in back at home, as well as the double engineering base. So, as well as Jamesykins, RobbyG is going for those double upgrades. Queen very nearly dying there. One lone Widowmine is going to get a detonation down onto one of the morphing Banelings. That's always nice. 3 more Banelings coming through, but a quick pickup allows this to escape at the cost of, well, it's not even the cost of yet, 1 Widowmine being left back at home. This drop getting unloaded again, allowing those Marines to heal up. More gas being forced to be spent by Jamesykins, as well as lava and minerals on more Zerglings. Just try and hold this off, but some good focus fire from RobbyG means that actually these Banelings aren't getting some huge hits down as of yet. Quick pickup, another drop by those Marines, allowing the Banelings to detonate on just one at a time. A very inefficient way to trade Banelings. And with that, what we're seeing is Jamesykins start to take some significant losses. A Spore Crawler coming through, just ready to grant that detection of the Widowmine, but the Widowmine should be off cooldown before that Spore Crawler is done. Quite a few drones are getting taken down here. Zerglings going to be trying to come in from behind. One Baneling detonates. Again, that Widowmine ready, and a big hit on all of the lava. And that's actually a very powerful attack, because by knocking out the lava, the production of Jamesykins gets really, really hurt. Jamesykins, though, he does have the 1-1 upgrades about to be complete. His lair is a little bit behind where he was probably aiming to get it down, and that means that he doesn't have access to the 2-2 upgrades yet, or Aspire and therefore Mutalisks. RobbyG, things are going his way pretty comfortably though. He's getting his third command center already placed at his third base. That's a lot of SCVs and a lot of muling potential here. He's up in the work account, having killed 8 drones, and his tech is right on track. He's got his first few medevacs out. He's getting the 1-1 upgrades nearly finished, and he's continuing on with this drop pressure. Able to take down an Overlord there, which isn't the end of the world, but certainly damage that is going to be very nice to have. A second Overlord as well, probably quite likely to die here as well, because the medevac providing high ground vision, and with so many Marines, quick damage done. A couple of Marines as well, trying to poke into the third, but Jamesykins doing a good job of splitting his army up, just defending all of his bases at the moment. And as such, should be able to hold this off. A couple of Banelings getting taken down. Nice splits from RobbyG. Does lose those Marines, but a worthwhile trade at a quick glance, being able to take out that many Banelings for just a handful of Marines alone. Medevac trying to poke up in towards the main base. Isn't able to achieve too much, but to be honest, RobbyG really looking like he's in the driver's seat of this map at the moment. Jamesykins, he's playing a very reactive game to what RobbyG is doing, and that's giving RobbyG a lot of comfort and a lot of freedom to do whatever he wants to back at home. Couple of links, just gonna get a little bit of scouting information, trying to pick up on an SCV there that is constructing the 4th command center, but it's this pushing towards the 3rd that's, again, just looking irritating. At no point has Jamesykins been able to assemble a decent group of units. He's also getting dropped in the main. His spawning pool taking a decent chunk of damage. The mines burrowing up. They could get a massive hit off there. Get a queen and a lot of lings. In the main, the spawning pool is going to fall. That means no more Zergling production, no more queen production. And that in turn stops any Banelings getting produced other than from the existing Zerglings. No second spawning pool is down. That's just getting remade now. And RobbyG is consistently, throughout this map, looking so strong. He's up 71 to 55 workers. His army supply is getting close to double that of his opponent. And at no point is Jamesykins able to get a decent amount of units down. A couple of good, nice Widowmine hits still coming through. And RobbyG just pushing on forward. He's not even going for the endless rally. He's rallying back at home. Bailings though, moving in, nearly get some good detonations down. So nice reaction from RobbyG with the pickup. He's also dropping into the natural base and just showing how devastating this multi-pronged attack and harassment can be from a Terror player, especially when a Zerg is limited on the number of units they have. And more good Widowmine hits reduce the Bailing count even further. There's currently only 22 Zerglings remaining, and with the spawning pool only just now done, reinforcements are only just now beginning. This isn't a great position for Jamesykins, especially with such a low drone count. RobbyG as well is now a base up on his opponent, just looking in such a good spot, and Jamesykins doesn't immediately have a response to this. He's not got a big bank, he can't really start producing a large number of Mutalisks. He doesn't have many Mutalisks down as of yet, and he's just constantly being defensive. RobbyG will back away from those Bailings. There's a good number more there though. On creep with speed, they're very hard to dodge. And Jamesykins does stop that push pretty overwhelmingly. And as such, a decisive victory for Jamesykins there. But he's going to need a few more of those. He's about 50 total supply down. Admittedly, 20 of that is in the form of workers, but he's also under half the army supply of RobbyG. These Bailing hits have to be magnificent. And they are starting off pretty well. Some good hits there. The mines taken down. The remaining Marines take a bit more damage too. The medevac count pretty high, up at 6, 8 about to be on the field, as well as a Thor ready to combat any Mutalisks that come through. Interesting to note that Jamesykins does have the +1 air attack coming through, but not a single Mutalisk yet. He can't afford them because of how many Bailings he's having to make and how many Zerglings he's having to make. He doesn't have spare minerals, and with that, GG is called. This never-ending push, and yeah, RobbyG wins game number 1 of this best of 3.